It's not a question of do you like or dislike Jewish people. The question is whether or not they like you. And if they don't like you, then I guess potentially you go to jail. This is a war of ruthless destruction that we are prepared to wage on behalf of Israel against Iran. I think that's very clear. And it's not going to be short if it turns out that what I'm predicting is true, because the Iranians will treat this as total war from their vantage point. Listen, we have to listen very carefully to President Trump, and he has repeated the Israeli talking points consistently. And these talking points have not changed for a very long time. So, number one, there can be no uranium enrichment, period. That is effectively demand number one. Demand number two is that Iran has to submit to the dismantlement of its missile arsenal. Essentially, no long range strike weapons whatsoever, certainly nothing that could reach Israel. And then finally, that Iran has to cease and desist from supporting the various Shiite populations across the Middle East. That means not just Hezbollah, but also in the Emirates and Saudi Arabia and Yemen. In other words, Iran surrenders unconditionally to Israeli demands. Now, I don't think these demands are meant to be the basis for any negotiated agreement. I think these demands are exactly what I said. It's our way or the highway. If we lose not two or three or five or six, but a few hundred or 1,000 over the period of 2 or 3 days, I doubt seriously that anyone in the electorate will pay a great deal of attention. Now, the other possibility that we cannot dismiss out of hand is fifth column activity, that we will lose people inside our own country to various kinds of acts of terror. That has not happened. The Iranians have not pushed that, but that's a distinct possibility. And then, of course, you have the people that are still on the ground in the Middle East that could be killed. And the Iranian view is that they're not going to trust anything we say or do or the Israelis say or do. I don't see how you avoid at that point an obvious armed collision. I think the larger consequences are escaping everybody's attention. We don't know what happens with the Straits of Hormuz. Will they be closed? If they're closed, then oil prices are not simply going to spike. It's going to be dramatic in terms of its impact on our economy and the financial system. What about the rest of the world? What's the rest of the world think of all of this? And I think we're already headed on a road down to two different worlds. On one side, you'll have BRICS, and I think that'll end up having at least 100 members before they're through, with gold-backed or commodity-backed currency. And then you have us on the other side, probably with most of the West Europeans and potentially some people in Latin America, Australia, perhaps, I don't know. And what are we going to use? Our fiat currency is in a lot of trouble. We've debased it. The dollar is at an all-time position of weakness. Certainly, it has not been this weak since 2022. Bottom line is, I think what happens financially and economically will be disastrous. Nation state that we all need to watch carefully is Turkey. The Turks have made it very clear that while they may have differences with Iran, and they have over many centuries, that's not a secret, they do not support the destruction of Iran. And we need to get back to this basic proposition. What are we doing against Iran? If we're not going to invade it, and I see no evidence that we will do that, then what is our goal? Previously, it was to decapitate and cause regime change. Is that still a goal? I suspect it probably is. But I think the larger goal is to destroy the country. We've already bankrupted the country. We've destroyed the value of the currency. Now we're going to go in and essentially level the place. What does that mean? That means they've got a water problem. It's going to get a lot worse. A food shortage, massive destruction of infrastructure, not just hopefully of the arsenals of including long-range strike weapons and so forth, but effectively everything and anything that could have any military or political utility inside the country. That's where we're headed. Do we have enough missiles, rockets, munitions on hand to do that? I don't know. Obviously, you have not been paying attention to the president or numerous governors. As somebody like Governor DeSantis, who's flown to Florida to sign a specific executive order creating a special class of human beings called Jews that cannot be criticized in any way, shape, or form. And now we have a rabbi running an office in the State Department who is setting out to teach the world that Jews are good and to correct anything in the record that could be remotely anti-Semitic. I mean, this is something we haven't seen since Lenin took over in the Soviet Union. One of the first things he did was effectively the same thing: outlaw any mention of the elders of Zion, any manifestation of anti-Semitism, and on pain of ending up in the gulag in some sort of slave labor camp. We haven't gotten to the slave labor camps, but we certainly have created a system where it's not a question of do you like or dislike Jewish people. The question is whether or not they like you. And if they don't like you, then I guess potentially you go to jail.